Welcome back to the Rules of Engagement. We're about to jump into the question and answer period, but first let me remind you guys, if you like any of our content, if you miss any of it, or just want to check out what other content we have available, please go to youtube.com/official MLGSC2, bring you this channel right here, hit that subscribe button over there. More subscribers is of course good for us, and it's good for you because you support us and we're awesome. And then a couple cool features here. You can go to something like playlists. You can find all the Winter Season Showdown matches are there up within an hour of 2 of when they're played. All that we comments of the day, we've got 3 out right now. We're going to start cranking them out a lot more. So feel free to leave comments on any YouTube video you find interesting or have a question about, and we may pick you to be the comment of the day. Highlights from broadcasts, Rules of Engagement episodes, all of our content is here on YouTube. Check it out, youtube.com/official MLGSC2. But now, let's jump into the question and answer portion. The first question is going to be from Arco SC. David Kim said he wants Oracle, Void Ray, Phoenix to be viable. Oracle's Melt Hydrotus. Why aren't we seeing this yet? And what are its pros and cons? So, Oracles don't actually really melt Hydrotus. I mean, Oracles do melt Hydrotus, but Hydrotus melt Oracles too, and they're much easier to produce. Cost for cost, Hydrotus have a slight advantage. Phoenixes, interesting enough, Phoenixes are actually better than Oracles against Hydrotus. Phoenixes are actually pretty good against Hydrotus. So, the reason we're not seeing mass air being used so much from Protoss is because it takes a little bit while to get going. So, well, of course, against Terran, Widowmines just will wreck most of those air options in the mid game. Or if you mass it too much, these light air units, even Voiders, are kind of light. Thors deal with them very well, and Marines deal with all those very well as well. So, first Terran, you'll see a lot of air being used to harass, but it's going to be light, not a major combination. Then you're going to see, also versus Terran, these massive air switches late game to try to catch Terran opponent off guard. If they're going mech, you're making them focus on Hellbats and tanks, or focus on Marauders. Now, nowhere you pull out like a 6 Stargate transition, and you just all of a sudden get like 20 air units and overwhelm them. But to do that transition, you need about 5 bases. So, versus Terran, you'll see light harass, and then you'll see, massive air transitions late game. But as a building up, slowly building up army, you won't see too much. Against Zerg, I think we could see a lot more airplay. I think Phoenixes, these guys, well, I sucked at everything. There we go. I don't know how this thing works. There we go. Oh, whatever. Phoenixes are pretty awesome against Zerg. The 5 range and the 7 with Fleet Beacon upgrade, they can really, really dominate Zerg. You're going to see a lot of them. Void Rays are also extremely strong against Zerg, but take 4 food and they're slower. So things like Hydras can outrun them. Things like Mutalisk can outrun them. Everything they beat, Phoenixes kind of beat as well. So I feel like we're going to see a lot of Phoenix play against Zerg, and we will see it. And that's the pros. It's cool to watch. The con of all these units is they're slow to produce, and you lose map control. Your opponent can take a lot of bases while trying to get. So I like the way they're going. I think the Protoss AR is getting viable. I do not think it is too strong at the moment, except in the hands of some really good Protosses. I think Mass Phoenix play versus Zerg has the potential to be semi-broken. I think we'll have to wait and see how that goes, because no Protosses have yet ventured into that option. But I'm really excited to see it. And of course, PvP airplay has a perfect niche. It's very strong. But because Warp Gates can produce a lot of Stalkers, Blink Stalkers can often counter it. It's a really interesting mix-up dynamic, and I love the route they're going with the Protoss Air right now. Maybe some of it play too strong. We'll have to wait and see, and maybe do a little bit of tweaking later. But I think right now it's just about right. Anyways, that wraps up this episode of Rules of Engagement. Please tune in again tomorrow, 5 p.m. Eastern. It's going to be best of 5 between Sake versus Thorzane. It's going to be an amazing matchup. Thorzane and Sake both phenomenal players. A pleasure to watch them. And then after that matchup, that'll start at 5 p.m. Eastern. After that match, we'll be analyzing the match you saw today between Mana and Blythe. See you guys tomorrow.